And good evening, MC Clubbers. It is Wednesday, the 18th of August, and I'm really sorry that we had to cancel again. This COVID thing is a bugger, and we just got to roll with the punches. It would have been so good to see everybody out. Everyone was looking so forward to it. Maybe it was like going to be your night out. So I had a night out last night. I was asked to speak at Amber Camera Club. They've also got very few people coming to their meetings. They've got a lot less photos that are being entered. It's because it's COVID. And I see our numbers are sort of up for photos. Yeah, so it's all looking good. So sorry, hopefully next month we can get to see everybody. So let's have a look. I'm going to do this. There's the playlist. So welcome, there was your welcome. KZN Regional Results. The Mamba Challenge, there's been a slight change in the subject. Technical Challenge, Fill the Frame, which is your next technical challenge. Here we go. Then we're going to do results. Technical challenge, backlit with full flash, Westfield challenge, reflections, and August monthly competition. Okay, so this was the KZN regional inter-club competition. There's inter-club competition and there's an inter-club challenge. The competition is always open and nature/wildlife, and the challenge is always the third subject. So 2 years ago we had food, and then we've had scapes, and that's why we're all pushing to look at our scapes. Next year it's patterns, but we'll get to that later on in the year. Okay, so this slideshow is 191 slides. It's a PowerPoint presentation. We transfer a link to everyone on email, and you can download it if you want. And what it does, it shows the top 50 images and all the winning images. What I've done for this is I've just taken out the Maritzburg Camera Club relevant photos and results. Okay, so 520 images submitted by 13 clubs. This is open category, and in the top 50 was Roger Fanner, yellow and blue. Well done, Roger. I know the mouse is here, but it means I can use the mouse wheel. So just ignore it. Those with OCD, just ignore the hand doing this all the time. Okay, so well done, Roger. Girl in the Crowd by Tom, very well done. And there's Ballet Dancer. Okay, those were in the top 50. And we ended up 9th overall. You know, we're waiting for the individual results, and we'll have a look and see. 531 points, and then Westfield was first, and Amber was second in the open category. I think this is 1 or 2 down from last year. I cannot find last year's results, and I'm so organized with things like this. I was obviously feeling incredibly organized, and I put it in a place I can't find anymore. Okay, so for nature/wildlife in the top 50 was Nola, very well done, Nola. Paul Nordia, very well done. And Rob Hart with his robber flower. Love that picture. Very well done. So we ended up 6th. I think last year we were 4th, maybe for nature. We usually do pretty well in this category. And so then for open nature, for the competition, we ended up 7th. Westfield were the winners, and Amber came 3rd, as the clubs on either side of us. And then for the challenge, which is the set subject, there was scapes. When we chose the scapes for this competition, I remember that our committee saying we were really pleased with our scapes because they're natural, they're not oversaturated, they're not all seascapes with milky water, they're really very real. And obviously the judges didn't really like that idea. So well done to Rob in the top 50. Outing with everybody there. Botanical Avenue by Connell, well done. And then Des got a com for this picture. Okay, so we ended up 9th, which is, and when you get to see the PowerPoint and the winners, you just see all the milky waters and the rocks, and yeah, but I must say I was very proud of our scapes, and I hope you will be, I hope you are too. We showed it at the club. Okay, and so overall scores, where's where's the thing? Oh, there isn't an overall. So we came 7th and then we came 9th here. So as soon as I've got the full results, I will send those out. But today or tomorrow, I will send out the WeTransfer link and you can download and see all the top 50 images. Well done to everybody. Okay, so on to the Mama Challenge. So the Mama Challenge is between ourselves and Amber chose the subject for the year. Okay, and the subject initially was looking up, which was quite limited because you really have to look up all the time. And so I had a chat with Leon and we've changed it to low angle looking up. So it can either be only a low angle or it can be looking up or it can be both. So something like this is kind of a low angle looking up. So it's both. Okay, this is a low angle looking up kind of thing if you really want to get that close to an elephant. Again, this is as well, you take on a low angle and you're just tilting your camera up a little bit. So I think it just gives us so much more leeway into just the plain straight looking up. That's actually quite a nice reflections as well. Something like that, that's completely looking up. This is low angle looking up. That's not necessarily a great photo, but you understand the angle that we're trying to get at. Yeah, kind of low angle looking up. Low angle looking up. That's more, I don't know, a little bit of a low angle looking up. But again, these are very similar to the examples that Leon showed at the club last night. So we're showing the same images. Sorry, that's very small. It's a low resolution image. Again, that's also a low angle looking up. Low angle, but again, you just tilt your camera up so you're looking up. Okay, this is just low angle, and that's fine as well. So you can either do straight looking up, straight low angle, or low angle looking up, which, let me just go back, like something like that, which I actually prefer. So that's much better, I think. There's another one here. Yeah, this is also, you've got right down, and then you're just tilting your camera up to get some looking up in it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy that better. I'm much more excited about this now, because just straight looking up was starting to get a bit boring. I mean, how many trees and leaves can we actually have in a competition? Okay, so that's the Mama Challenge. Okay, so I'm on the website now, and on the WhatsApp, I did tell everyone I could move things around. I just think it's just slightly better now. And there's your F blog, and you can go and have a look. And I've put all the besties in as sliders. I've still got to add the PMB Bok Gardens, the ones that you've just done today, and then members, your technical challenges. I've still got to change that. And then the Mamba Challenge, I'll put those latest photos there. And I was going to show you something, and now I've just gone completely blank. And I'm going to look at my notes. And no, I think I just wanted to show you, yeah, the latest changes to the website. And when I close the website, I'm sure I will then remember. Oh wait, yes, no, I do not remember technical challenges. Oh, this is fun. See, this is why we need live meetings. Okay, so this is just all about filling the frame. Okay, so for example, if you look at this is still kind of on the 2/3, so you can do that, or you can center. I really like that one. Yeah, and remember, they have to be taken after the 29th of November, on or after the 29th of November, and we do check and we do disqualify. Okay, the Mama Challenge. Oh, looking up, taken from a low angle. Okay, so it was there all along. I don't know why Leon said it wasn't. Okay. So we're doing well. Okay, so good luck with Fill the Frame. I'm very excited about it. I may actually enter it this month. Okay, so we're on to the technical challenge. Backlit with full flash. Yeah, it wasn't a hard one, but these are what the technical challenges are about, to learn new things. Thank you to our judge, Roger Fanner. Thank you for your time, Roger. Okay, 1 star. So now I'm going to move the mouse, and then I have to click, and it's going to go back. And here we go. Okay. Backlit Sunel, 13 merit, Cornelia Appel. I'm not 100% sure this is flash used here. However, I cannot prove that it isn't. Very well captured for a 1 star. Amazing stuff. Champagne Mountain Cat, 3. Subject is blurred badly. Sadly, no sign of backlit other than the evidence on the distant mountains. The mountains are unfocused very well, but the composition needs to be a little tighter on the top and cat placed more central. If you wanted the mountains as a background, take the image from a bit lower angle or coax the cat to a higher vantage point. Remember, 1 star, really all you're looking at is the subject of your photo to be in focus. Okay. Champagne Mountain Hoopoe, 4 bronze. Sadly, the wirebird is not in focus and gets lost in all the action of the tree branches. The subject has good fill and flash, but sadly the light is already with you and not against. Okay, ditto for this image. Golden Lion, self-portrait, 10 gold, Kinnear Apple. Great image, love the backlight. However, I see no sign of full and flash here. However, I cannot say yes or no, so I judged it as if there was. Cropping can be tightened a little from the right, and there seems to be a hint of camera shake. But all in all, great image and a great self-portrait. Star. Autumn Color, 12 gold, Denise Harvey. Great idea to use this topic on a leaf. The reds, however, seem to be slightly overexposed due to the saturation red has on a sensor. Crop a little more off the top. Also seems to be lacking a little bit of sharpness. Otherwise, a very good try. Spiderweb, 10 gold, Denise Harvey. Very interesting and amazing find. I love the thought that presumably went into this image. Sadly, I see no sign of flash. Very interesting though. Squirrels, 9 silver. What an amazing shot. Great image. Sadly, I see no sign of full and flash. Just the shadow slider adjusted, which has introduced a lot of noise. I really do like this image though, just not quite for this challenge. Three star. Hello, 11 gold, Liesel Cooperthwaite. Great work here. I really like the fact you waited for golden light here and the flash was perfect. I also like the slightly angled vantage point. Great work. Five star. Ooh, about to break free, 13 merit, Maxi Holder. The reflected backlight is good, but this subject really would have benefited greatly from a stronger light source. Great image though, and excellent use of full flash. Beautiful. Minimalism. Backlit fern, 13 merit, Bertie Price. Excellent image. The background fern is a little distracting, but worked in a way due to the fact it connects the two subjects. Backlit, 12 gold, Bertie Price. Well done on this, perfect full flash. However, I feel the out of focus flowers on the right really detract from this image. Otherwise, really good work. Banjo backlit, 13 merit, Bertie Price. Excellent use of catnip to sedate this feline. Just kidding. My cat really humors me when I try to take a photo. This is Roger talking, not me. Excellent lighting and great sharpness. Oh, Cameroptera. 14 merit, Maxi, your captions. Excellent. Not much I can say negative about this. Amazing work. Well done. Feinboss Flora, 12 gold, Rob Hart. Interesting image. Sadly, the focus seems to be a little narrow. I feel the focus should include the petals on the front flower. Also crop a little tighter on the right. Golden Hoverfly, 13 merit, Rob Hart. Sadly, I see no evidence of backlit here, though I shall judge it on merit assuming there was. Excellent work here, except I feel there's a little wasted space bottom, and right. Periscope feelers, 13 merit, Rob Hart. Quite a strange little creature that, well captured, excellent work. Yellow nasturtium against the wall, 13 merit, Maxi Holder. Well done, met the criteria to perfection. Great sharpness and wonderful colours. Very clean image, well done. Junior winner, Backlit Sunal, very well done, Cornelia. Senior winner, Maxi, are you going to make me say it again? Camaroptera. Camaroptera. Well done, Maxi. The end. Okay, and we're on to the Wasteful Challenge. Thank you, Judge Roger Fanner. Roger Fanner's worked hard this month for us. 2-star. A favourite fishing spot, 10 gold, Denise Harvey. Very good spot with the reflections. It is mildly overexposed and lacking a little bit of sharpness. For a 2-star, still very good. Also for club images, a thin border is required. I disagree with that. You don't have to have a border. A long winding road, 12 gold, Denise Harvey. Another well spotted out the norm reflections capture. Excellent exposure, great sharpness and a story. Good job. Next time just take care to remove the spots in the top right of the mirror and add a thin border. So in this case, because the photo is kind of dark there and there, borders are usually better. So it doesn't look like it's going to infinity, but yeah, that's your personal choice. 3-star. Majestic Mountain, 9 silver. Well spotted, and the snow-capped peaks really make this image that much better. I have one point which I can't get around as much as I try to ignore it, but the image appears to be leaning to the left. This may be a perfect representation of the image, perfectly dimensional, but as an image, the poles are leaning ever so slightly left, and it puts me off. Try rotating the image clockwise so the poles are exactly perpendicular to the bottom of your screen, as you see it, and see if you see what I see. Also, the little twigs or bits on the left third bottom of the image are a little distracting. Also, a thin border around the image wouldn't hurt. Morning drink, 11 gold, diesel Cupidthwaite. Wonderfully spotted reflections. Image is adequately sharp, and I see why you cropped it the way you did, but for me it's too much information. It is slightly overexposed on the white, but all in all it's a great image. Just need to add a narrow border around the edges. Four-star. Cirrus Cloud Reflections, 10 gold, Doug Cupidthwaite. Beautiful image, loving the reflections on the railway bridge, beautifully sharp. I do feel that there are too many clouds, even if the title says clouds. For the challenge, maybe crop it to incorporate the bridge and a little around the edges, maybe 1/5 of the image. I feel it would have suited the challenge better. Otherwise, a great image. Green Boat, 13 merit, Doug Cupidthwaite. What a stunningly simplistic reflections image. Pin sharp, great story, excellent composition, just lacking a narrow border. This is a very interesting image. Sadly, the camera shake. Oh, wait, sorry. Harbour Reflections, 9 silver. This is a very interesting image. Sadly, the camera shake is a bit distracting. Either exaggerate a bit more or reduce. The image also needs to be rotated about 1 to 1.5 degrees clockwise. Also, add a narrow border around the image. Looking for fish, 9 silver. Good attempt at this image. I do like the way you separated the reflection from surroundings, very well framed. Sadly, the image does seem to be a little softly focused. very lacking in detail and texture. The bottom left rock is very distracting and should be cloned or healed out, and that highly illuminated insect bug just to the left of the brightest spot on the bird should have been healed out. Lastly, add a border. Mirrored 9 silver. Well spotted image. Sadly the highlights are really blown out here and the sharpness doesn't seem to be there. Great reflection though. Lastly, add a narrow border to the image. Who are you? 13 Mirrored Tracy Rhodes. Wonderful image. The black and white adds beautifully to this image. Sharp, bar the double imaging the mirror creates. Great story. Gosh, that's lovely. 5 star. Chalk Reflections. 13 Merit, Bertie Price. Love this image of the chalk. The fabric texture added is very attractive too. Fairways Rhino Reflection. 13 Merit, Ronald van den Heefer. Beautifully composed image. Well done dissecting it on the horizon. Excellent sharpness and great exposure. High Flying Reflections, 11 Gold, Rob Hart. If the wing bends anymore, it will snap. Well spotted reflection and excellently composed. Perfect technical image. Well done. JD Reflections, 12 Gold, Bertie Price. Again, lovely use of textures here. Also love the dappled look it has. I do, however, feel the image is leaning a little to the left due to the perspective. Otherwise, great image. Little Grebe Reflection, 12 Gold, Ronald van den Heefer. Cute subject sitting on what would almost be a mirror. I do feel it could be cropped a little tighter from the left and top. Also slightly overexposed. Otherwise, a wonderful image. Well done. Peephole Reflections, Kenmo, 11 Gold, Rob Hart. Beautiful image, wonderful colors. I do see a bit of haloing around the sharper edges of the trees, especially visible against the sky. Also, the second tree on the right seems to have some of the red foliage bleeding into it, like chromatic aberration. The reflection here, and I say this is my opinion, doesn't really add much to the image. Pharaoh Ducks, 9 silver. Good spot for reflection. Sadly, this image seems to have lacked a bit of sharpness. The highlights also seem to be a little on the hot side. And that's it, the end. Thank you. So we're on to the monthly competition. Oh, try again. Down. Thank you to the judge, Leon Hayes from Amber Camera Club. 1 star. Open. And thank you also to Bertie for doing all these slideshows, adding in the stars, adding in the categories. It's a huge job, so thank you very much, Bertie. Upside Down Cat, 14 Merit, Tom LeBeau. Most unconventional kitty image, but why not? I like your approach to this, and you have captured exactly what cats do. For a 1-star worker, you have done exceptionally well. The 380mm focal length means you were probably using quite a long, heavy lens, and your focusing is to be applauded. The nose is 100% in focus, and the eyes are 99% there. Overall, it's a great image, and I love that Tiger's teeth are showing. Photo Art Creative. Peace in a Teacup, 10 Gold, Cornelia Apple. For a 1-star worker, this is exceptionally well done. It is a very interesting concept, and the way that it is presented adds to the story, but I'm not sure that it is in a peaceful way. After all, it is called Peace in a Teacup. This grungy look doesn't appear peaceful to me. I like to think that I have an open, abstract mind, but the storytelling here is just a bit vague to me. Presented as is, with the girl being face down, adds to my misunderstanding. If the image is rotated 90 degrees clockwise, it is a bit easier on the eye. Portrait. Portrait of a dog, 9 silver. Beautiful dog and brave attempt. This low angle is great. Mamba challenge. But maybe this is a bit too low for this image. The saturation is very strong. I'm 99% sure that a golden lab does not have a shocking pink tongue. Leaving the image with such a dark background unframed is a risk. It is viewed on a black screen. It is okay, but the moment the image is viewed on a screen of any other color, it then appears that the dog is looking at a strong brick wall. The image then appears too close to the left margin. Portrait of a young girl, 8 silver. Such a sweet little mite and endearing image of this child. Sadly, there are problems. The police file style of composition is not the most flattering for any portrait. The saturation and contrast are also way too intense. With these lifted, one can see a beautiful eyes and cheery smile. For a child's portrait, these two elements should always be used in small measures to help convey softness and innocence. Scapes, 5 bronze. The champagne vista is beautiful and your image shows it off adequately. Sadly, it's no more than that. As a landscape image, it lacks a lot of what makes a good landscape image. There's no foreground or midground detail, and that is sorely missed. The light is extremely flat with little to no molding at all. This is a record shot of the mountain that hopefully will remind you of your time there, but needs a lot more substance if it is going to score a high award. A pretty mountain is not quite enough. Champagne Mountain Reflection, 10 gold, Max Rosru. I suspect this might be the same author as the previous image, and now what a difference. This image is far more compositionally and has far more substantive interests. The foreground and midground are much more interesting and tell a far better story. The image is still presented very light and could do with light and color balancing. All over, a much more considered image. Champagne Mountain Sunbird, 9 silver. Here we have a situation of the foreground being very dominant. The midground is lacking, but the background is clearly visible. The focus and depth of field is aimed at the foreground, which renders the mountains a tad out of focus. The shutter speed was high enough for you to have closed the aperture more to possibly f16 and still have a shutter speed of around 1/100th of a second. This would have brought the mountain into sharper focus. Ooh, that's interesting. Lena in Hamville, 10 gold, Cornelia Appel. Wow, this is quite some pano. I love the pano format, so theoretically I should like this, but maybe the idea has been taken a tad too far. I do understand why you did it, but the image is just so complex that it loses some of its appeal. The only things that really stand out are the big green trees on the right, but sadly they are truncated, and the road is just insignificant. If you could have moved quite far to your right and included that avenue of trees and the road, that would have made more sense. The whole mealie field could have been cropped off on the left and still conveyed the same story. I assume it is a stitched image, and so you've done a great job. Snow in Lesotho, 13 merit, Cornelia Appel. Wow, that's lovely. This image has the making of a great image. The subject matter is just wow. I particularly like the composition and the pathway leading the eye into the image, and the left side hut is beautiful. I think that the strong saturation does work, but there's one little problem. If you present it a tad too light. If the brights are toned down and the whole image is darkened slightly, you begin to see texture in the snow and the shadows on the houses look more realistic. That adds a lot of value. Still a beautiful image. These are really good points. Yeah, it's a beautiful image. Well done. 2-star. Wildlife. Bird preening, 10 gold, Denise Harvey. The great thing about this image is that it is pin sharp. The detail in the feathers is very good, and that has to be applauded. Sadly, the saturation is far overdone and does not appear to be natural. The pose of the bird is a tad awkward, and it would have been a better option to wait a few seconds for something more interesting. Nice effort though. Lioness, 14 merit, Denise Harvey. It's all about those eyes, and you've done exceptionally well to focus in on them. It appears that the light is not great and you have used ISO 800, but that hasn't deterred from the clarity in the image. There's a bit of digital noise in the darker areas, but it is negligible. I love the pullback ears, and the whole image just speaks to me of lion. Well done. Thirsty Buffalo, 12 gold, Denise Harvey. This is great subject matter and the type of image that most people would just scan past. There's such a strong story here and it's very endearing. The mono conversion was a great idea to help eliminate intrusions, but it is presented too light. If the whole image was darkened and given a bit more contrast, it could have been a winner. P.S. Don't always eliminate reflections. This can be very strong storytellers. They can be very strong storytellers, sorry. I've never seen a little buffalo. That is so cute. 3-star, open. Bench on the other side, 9 silver. I like what you saw and I would have also photographed the scene. The warm colours at Kenmore are beautiful. The framing is a great idea, but this hasn't quite worked for 2 reasons. To me, it is just a bit too out of focus. F5 was probably not the best choice for a landscape image, but I do realize that the light was quite low and you needed that extra light by using a wideish aperture. A smaller aperture with your camera on a tripod would have been the answer. The framing is also completely disjointed from the rest of the image. There is nothing that anchors the orange leaves into the image. They just appear to be floating there. The inclusion of the 2 benches is a great idea, but would have been even better if there was a person sitting there. And just a reminder, in landscapes, F8 is your mate. Okay. Icy Morning, 7 silver. You really have captured a strong emotive winter scene here. The mono version of this image accentuates the bleakness of the view and the feeling of cold. Sadly, your composition has let you down. The emptiness on the left with absolutely no detail in that part doesn't balance with the right side of the image, possibly because of the feeling of incompleteness. The truncated bridge makes me feel that there's more to the image that should have been included. Thompson's Beach Walk, 7 silver. In essence, this is an eloquent record shot of what happened on the day, and nice that you captured the people in the frame of the arch. This scene was always going to present problems purely because of the extremes in light. The dark rocks with the bright scene beyond is not easy and has failed you. In post-processing, the image could have been balanced a bit more. The whole image could have been darkened a bit with more contrast added, and then that bright spot in the middle could have been dulled down even further. That would have helped to see more detail. The foreground is almost nondescript. Try cropping away up to the end of the foreground puddle. Up to that point, the story is not strong. Ugly Caterpillar, 6 bronze. I do see what I think you're seeing here. The bright color of the flower works well against the green-grey colors. Sadly, it's not the best representation of this plant. There is far too much busy detail in the bottom half of the image that is not adding value. Even cropping the bottom half away, you still retain the story. The top leaf is also almost cropped, making the whole image feel a bit unbalanced. The ISO of 1000 has also not been the best choice, as this has resulted in digital noise in the darker areas. Veldfire, 10 gold, Liesl Cooperthwaite. A very dramatic scene and one that is so typical of our area. The colors and textures are great and very true to life. Although the storytelling is strong, I don't feel the crop is what I would have done. It appears that you've cropped it to ensure you kept the smoke and fire in the top left. I recropped this image without that detail and it worked just as well without seeing that smoke. In fact, I think it was even stronger. It adds to the feeling of desolation. The very square, solid block of building is a bit intense. I would have repositioned myself if possible and made the gates my chief character in this drama. Scapes. We're doing 3-star scapes. A bridge with an accidental selfie, 9 silver. There are elements in this image that are great. The road leading one's eye into the image and the man standing on the grass are strong elements that help tell the story. I just feel that the format is wrong. Everything is happening on the left and right side is devoid of any interest. Cropping the image to portrait mode with the right-hand side excluded does the image a world of favors. The saturation is a bit high, making the lime green grass and turquoise sky look a bit fake. I would also level it slightly to the right. In a row, 13 Merritt, Joan Lindiger. This image just goes to prove that there is an image in everything if you just look carefully. Looking is one thing, but seeing is quite another. Good on you for spotting a very interesting image that has worked so very well. The lines are all very strong, but the soft lollipop tree shapes help to break all of that and add huge interest. There are two things I want to point out. One, it could be slightly darker to help bring out more detail. Two, be careful of perpendicular lines that are slightly off. If they should be perpendicular, then making them perpendicular without any slopes. This can be corrected in post-processing. Otherwise, a simple but great image. Wildlife. The view from below, DQ. This image has stumped me. I love the idea, but in the wildlife category where no editing is allowed, it confuses me. This is definitely not a wildlife subject, maybe nature, but not wildlife. I see that the image was made with an 8mm fisheye lens, but I really think that it should have been entered into the open or photo art category. I'm really not sure about the editing techniques here, but I'm pretty sure it has been manipulated to this format, which in wildlife would not be allowed. The black background was almost certainly added afterwards. I really apologize if I am wrong, but I have to judge as presented, and I cannot assume anything. 4-star. Nature. At full stretch, 9 silver. Undeniably not an easy shot to capture. These birds move so quickly that anything in this vein should be commended. Thus said, there are some problems. The top and the bottom are very closely cropped, making the bird feel squashed in. The bright reds are also distracting and so dominating that the main subject gets lost in the confusion. The bird is also not as sharp as it could be, and there's digital noise in the darker background areas. Oh, kingfisher. Pretty malachite, 9 silver. These birds are so very small and really tricky to photograph. This composition is not as good as it could be. Cropping it closer and more creatively would have helped. This would have eliminated stray foliage on the edges, but it would have compounded the focusing issues. It is already not 100% sharp, and cropping this even closer would spell disaster. Background noise is also a problem. Open. Snow among the clouds, 9 silver. A nice record shot of the scene in front of you. As a photographic landscape shot, it falls a bit short. The EXF data here has been removed, so I cannot see the technical details of this image. From an artistic standpoint, it lacks a strong foreground element. The whole image is busy with all sorts of detail, but none of it adds much value, and lots of it just adds clutter. The story of the snow in the clouds gets a bit lost amongst all the detail. Scapes. Church sunrise, 7 silver. The F22 you have used has given you a great starburst. The rest of the image is just a tad ordinary. I feel that you have lost an opportunity to use the sun creatively in and around that church spire. The crop at the bottom is also not the most effective idea. Early morning marina, 13 Merritt, Avril Janssen. Oh, that's lovely. Nice leading line here with the water drawing one's eye into the image. Besides the strong lines of the canal, there's little else. Oh, wrong comment. 13 Merritt, Avril Janssen. The contre-jour effect has worked exceptionally well here. There's just enough silhouette to make it very interesting, and just enough light to help distinguish what the images are all about. I think I would have been tempted to exclude the last 2 boats on the right. That would have then shifted the position of the sun to the right thirds and drawn the eye to the new right-hand side boat. Still a great image. Life-giving water, 9 silver. Nice leading line here with the water drawing one's eye into the image. Besides the strong line of the canal, there's little else for the eyes to settle on except the very bright strip of sky at the top. Consider cropping it away completely. Much of the right-hand side doesn't add value to the image. Sunrise, 9 silver. A perfectly adequate picture of the sunrise over the sea. It is something we have seen a million times over. Remember, sunrise does not need to feature that glowing golden orb. The soft, delicate tones of the sky away from the sun can be just as beautiful. Just a thought. I find the composition a bit awkward with quite a lot of green background with some very bright spots on the right. The horizon is also dead center. Cropping away the green foreground would help with this. The saturation is also too high. This is a common mistake with sunrises. Sunset over the sea, 8 silver. Your plus point here is catching the bird in the frame, but while the saturation is completely overdone. I like the inclusion of the boat, but I rue the fact that the boat is truncated. Where's the boat? Oh, in the front. You probably had your eye on the bird and not the boat. If these colors are real, I apologize. But sometimes it also helps to soften the truth and reduce the saturation to make the image appear more lifelike. 5-star, nature. Beautiful kingfisher, 12 gold, Des van Tonder. The composition here is beautiful and sensitively handled. The colors are bold without being oversaturated. Some judges would argue that the background is too busy. Yes, it is busy, but the shapes and colors are not too overpowering. Being so blurry and subdued was the correct way of handling the situation. With an ISO of 500, there's always a danger of digital noise, but if it was there, it has been expertly dispensed with. Yes, there was lots of noise. I don't know about the expert side. Okay. B&LO, 13 merit, Des van Tonder. Great image of another very difficult subject. The depth of field and shutter speed are perfect, this allowing just enough movement and background isolation. The colors are true and the focusing is great. There's no noise in the background, but there is some on the B. Obviously the author has removed background noise, but if it was removed on the B would have become soft. This is the author's only option and one that most photographers would have adopted. Maybe it was just over sharpened. Black is the new orange, 12 gold, Des van Tonder. Beautiful photographic version of this bird. In full Technicolor, they are tricky to photograph. Presenting it in mono was a good idea. The composition is superb, and I really like the quirky pose of the bird. It's something a bit different. Sadly, there's quite a lot of noise in the background. I did a quick auto noise reduction on this image, and that improved it considerably. Open. Banjo Stalking, 13 merit, Bertie Price. This is very pleasing, and the filter that has been added works well with the image story. The intensity in the eyes is captivating, and the crop is great for the subject. The colors are true to the fact that the cat is in the sunlight. Just wish the shadow over the nose was not there. Great use of depth of field. Blue Light Splash, 12 gold, Ronald van den Heever. Very interesting concept, and I think it is a good attempt at what you were trying to achieve. There are 2 or 3 suggestions that I have. I would like to see higher contrast here to improve the lights and darks, but the dark bottom area could be lightened slightly. The globe seems to be leaning a little to the right. It could have been better if it was dead upright. I would also have liked to have seen more of the water source at the top. It is a tad too tightly cropped there, and the story would have been stronger if there's a little bit more was visible. It is an art image, and I cannot tell you what is right and wrong. Okay, so I was pouring the water, so you would have seen my hand. I don't know if that would have been a good thing. Fragile Gooseberry Skeleton, 8 silver. The patterns and shapes here are great, and the mono conversion adds to the representation of the shapes and patterns. The technicalities of the mono has not worked so well. The whole image is either black or white. There are no greys at all. This makes the image very graphic and without depth and molding. This also makes the whites appear very overbright because there is no detail. Let the combat begin, 12 gold, Nola Maring. Very moody image with the layers that have been added, adding to this mood. The ordinary subject matter has been nicely enhanced by this. I like the semi-mono and semi-colored representation. It suits the subject matter. I feel the space at the front of the image could have been cropped away a little. That would have drawn one's eye into the 2 main subjects. My little one could not take the heat, 10 gold, Nola Maring. I think I see and hear your story here. The high key effect is the main story, and you have coped fairly well. I just think that the contrast could have been pushed up very slightly. This would have made the birds at the top left just a tad more visible. My one issue here is that there are 3 sets of main subjects, which is not ideal. I think cloning away the smaller tree, thus leaving only one tree, adds to the story of isolation and hardship. Nice, peaceful image. 93 and still waiting for service. 9 silver. The idea of converting this image to mono was a clever thing to do. It adds to the story in the image. By just adding a sepia tone to the image, in my opinion, it doesn't go far enough to portray the age of the subject. The aging process here is not very convincing. By adding texture and possibly some grunge would be a lot more effective. There's a lot of foreground and that does not add value and could be cropped away. The tractor looks as though it is leaning backwards. Straightening it by rotating the image slightly to the left will help immensely. Turning the page. Playing hide and seek. 10 gold, no layering. This is a very endearing and such a great observation and capture. I love the behavior you've been able to capture here. I would have just liked to see a little more of the cat, and I feel you missed the opportunity to capitalize on the cat's reflections in post-processing. If those could have been emphasized, it would have elevated the score. Nice, unique image, something different. Secretary bird, 12 gold, Bertie Price. What a delight to see this image. Just the most beautiful bird. You almost got it right here. The colors are beautiful and true without oversaturation, and the composition is spot on. The fact that there are fences visible in the background is not a problem because this is in the open category. The only problem is light. It was a bit on the bright side. I'll start again. It was a bit bright on the right side, and some of the feather detail is in jeopardy of being lost. Just toning the brightness down slightly would have done the trick. The background is grainy, and that is strange for ISO 100. Seeing red, 9 silver. He, she, it sure is seeing red. The eye on this bird is pin sharp, as it should be, but the beak is a bit soft. This is not ideal, but acceptable considering the distance between the tip of the beak and the eye. This was also taken at a focal length of 460 millimeters, so this is expected. Now, one issue is a very busy background. Yes, it is out of focus and the separation is good, but it is very dominant. Try turning that red-orange down a tad. It is in the open category, so that would have been permissible. Wildlife. Hot cormorant, 9 silver. Great focus and good feather detail here. This is not an easy black bird. The image is bright all over, especially in the light areas, and toning that down using levels or curves makes a huge difference. A lot more of the wave and rock detail is visible in this case. Composition is ordinary. Jumbo Pat Grub, 12 gold, Rob Hart. Nice to see a guinea fowl doing what guinea fowls do. Great to also see the natural environment with the sand flying as it was scratching. The focus and feather detail is superb and overall it is nicely presented. My only concern is that there is a tiny bit of haloing around the bird and that might be an indication of lightning. It is a bit too much. Some of the background is slightly bright, not a problem, but depending where the exposure metering happened, that might have slightly darkened the scene, hence the need for lightening the bird. Right. Just chilling, 14 merit, Ronald van den Heefer. Beautifully presented image with clean lines and good technicalities. The subject is clear and simple and comes across strongly. The composition is great and the angle of the subject is different and refreshing. My only comment is that it has a slightly cold blue hue. By adding a number 85 warming filter, allowable in wildlife, it makes a world of difference. Beautiful image. Looking out for a snack, 9 silver. Such beautiful birds, but tricky to photograph because of their dense black plumage. Here you've managed to capture the detail in the feathers, but at a cost. The strong half sun has really flattened the light, and there is little moulding evident. The image has been darkened slightly. If the image had been darkened slightly, it would have helped. The angle of the bird was also not the best. The eyes and beak of this bird is always what one aims for. And here, although the beak is visible, the eye is semi-obscured. This is also compounded by the bird walking away from the camera. Animals don't do what they're supposed to do sometimes. Pelican Trio 10 Gold Rob Hart. Nice that there are 3 subjects in the frame. The light is very bright here, but you have done well to still capture detail in the whites, although the very strong light does flatten the image, especially with the shadows lifted as they are. Pity there's not much space to the right, as the birds look as though they are swimming into a flat wall. Good strong colour rendition. Water monitor. Ooh, gee. 12 gold, Renalphin and Heifer. Wow, what a great sighting, and really nicely captured too. Yes, the image is quite busy, but I would think that the author was trying to depict the extent of the camouflage of the monitor lizard and how well they blend into their background. Also, yes, the focus falls off along the length of the body, but at f8 the problem arises. Get more in focus, as well as the background, or soften the focus on the body and also the background. You did well with your choice because the head is in sharp focus. Well done. Okay. So, there was a lot of images. Junior winner, Upside Down Cat, Tom LeBeau. Well done, Tom. Senior winner, Just Chillin', Renelle. Well done, Renelle. I'm picking up the canvases today. Well, I'm pretending it's the evening. It's actually Wednesday morning when I'm doing this. So I'm picking up the canvases later today. And I will get you your canvases in the next few days or so. The end. Oh.